Greetings, families, and welcome to the Legacy Traditional School New Campus Virtual Prospective Parent Information Meeting. We are thrilled to have you join us tonight to learn more about Legacy's curriculum, programs, and offerings at our new campuses that will be opening this fall, 2021. My name is Centria Ewings, and I'm the Associate Director of Events and Engagement at Legacy Traditional Schools, and I will be your moderator for tonight. We will have a Q&A session following the presentation. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, we invite you to add them into the Q&A box, which is here in your widget. It'll say Q&A right there, so feel free to drop your questions there and we will address those at the conclusion of our presentation tonight. Finally, I have the honor of introducing you to our presenter for the evening, Superintendent Kirkley. And then as a reminder, if you have questions, just drop them in the Q&A. And without further ado, I would like to pass the virtual mic over to Superintendent Nicole Kirkley.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. As Centria said, my name is Nicole Kirkley. I'm the superintendent of the Legacy Schools. We're excited to talk a little bit about our 3 new campuses coming here in the fall, as Centria said. And so the agenda tonight, obviously we'll review our mission and philosophy, our curriculum and our programs, classroom management in a Legacy classroom, and then at the end we'll have Q&A for any of the parent questions that are answered throughout our presentation. So to get started here, you see the flag because each morning at Legacy Traditional Schools, we start off with a flag ceremony. So in a traditional environment, all of our students gather outside together and the principal and assistant principals lead flag ceremony. On Mondays, we have Mission Monday where our students recite the mission statement. We choose a different class each Monday. And they start learning the mission statement on day 1. And very quickly, every student and teacher will know the mission statement and you'll hear them practicing it as they're walking through the halls and in their classrooms. Right now in our virtual world, our students report straight to their classrooms in the morning and they have flag ceremony from their classroom. We do it over the intercom, but we also do a Facebook Live flag ceremony at all of our schools. So if you're interested in checking that out now, you can follow any of our Legacy specific campuses and you can see an example of what the virtual flag ceremony looks like right now. And as I stated, we go through our mission statement each Monday. And so our mission statement here, Legacy Traditional Schools' mission is to provide motivated students with the opportunity to achieve academic excellence in an accelerated back to basics safe learning environment taught by caring, knowledgeable, and highly effective educators in cooperation with supportive involved parents. And I know you see a lot of big words there and you probably think that our kindergartners can't do it, but they in fact can, and they do a very great job. They sometimes even show off to our 6th grade students how it's really done. So it's really fun to see, and parents usually come with their video cameras and they really love it, and the students love to show off. Moving forward, our Legacy schools are all part of Advanced Ed, which means they're a globally accredited program. And so our Legacy schools are recognized as a network. And so each school, as they enter our Legacy family, are automatically an Advanced Ed school due to our curriculum. We went through the network accreditation about a year ago. And so what that allows is that many of our schools also offer high school courses as the students get into the older grades. And so that can count for high school credit on a transcript, which is very exciting, and our parents love that. In 2007, we opened our first Legacy school, which was Legacy Maricopa. And as you can see, we've definitely expanded since then. We have 19 schools here listed, and we'll soon have 3 more schools. We're really excited. All of our mascots, the students love choosing their mascot. We typically have a Facebook campaign where everyone can be involved in choosing the mascot. So for our 3 new schools, I'm sure something similar will be done, and the families will immediately know what mascot the school will have, and then they can start to get their spirit gear and everybody just gets super excited. So LTS has grown obviously from one small campus to now serving over 23,000 students in both Arizona and Nevada. And next year we'll have our Deer Valley, East Tucson, and Mesa campuses as well. Next, I'm going to show a rendering of what the small school will look like. And so we call these a small school because our typical legacy schools have about 12 to 1,300 students, but these schools will house anywhere between 600 and 700 students. It's a two-story model, and our facilities, all of our facilities have state-of-the-art classrooms. When you walk in the classrooms, you'll see the desks are in a grid-like pattern. There's cubbies on the side for the students. They have dedicated, their own dedicated space. Here you see that when you walk into a legacy classroom, you'll see something similar in every campus and every classroom. The boards, they have similar boards. They can all bring out their own creativity, of course, in their decor, but you'll have the same reading, spelling, and math boards where we display student work. In the younger grades, we have a large Saxon board at the back. You'll see the Spalding cursive. Is this print? Your print. My eyes are getting old. Spalding print across the top here of our alphabet. And in beginning in second grade, you'll see it in cursive as the students begin to learn cursive in the final quarters there of second grade. And then moving on, you'll see a sample here of a gymnasium. And so there will be a full-size gym in all of our schools. And so our new campuses as well will have this indoor facility, which is really great to have PE classes in the inclement weather, which we have more often than not here in Arizona. Not so much rain like we would hope for, but we definitely have the heat. So it's great to have these state-of-the-art facilities for our students throughout the day. And then you'll see the covered areas outside as well here in this picture. And so there's shaded play areas for the students, and we have that AstroTurf out there for all the students to play on. And we have really great outdoor facilities as well, sports facilities, one playground covered area, and then a pretty large outdoor field as well. So the students get definitely a lot of space to burn off their energy. We'll move on here to talk a little bit about the philosophy of Legacy Traditional Schools. So Legacy offers a back to basics education. So as you see, we believe in the teacher providing direct instruction from the front of the room, the students sitting in rows and facing the front. That's not to confuse our program with not offering collaboration. Our students collaborate very often, actually. It's just not cooperative learning. So we don't ask our students to learn from one another. They learn from the expert in the room, which is the teacher, and then they collaborate with one another and build upon those skills. It's a rigorous and accelerated program. Sorry, something just popped up in the chat. A rigorous and accelerated program, meaning we teach a year ahead in math. So at the beginning of a new school, if your student's new to Legacy, they may struggle a little bit in the first quarter. And really sometimes we say give it until Christmas break. They may struggle a little with the new Spalding phonograms and with a whole grade level ahead in math. But what's so great about our math program is it spirals, and we'll get into that a little bit more later in the program. We obviously have very highly effective teachers, knowledgeable teachers, certified teachers is an expectation at Legacy. We have high expectations and structure for our students. So there is homework each evening. The students are expected to turn it in on time. There's no late work. But we also have a very positive environment. So you won't walk into a classroom and catch our teachers pointing out the negative behavior. Instead, they'll point out the positive behavior and take a spin on that so that all the students catch on to that behavior that's being praised in the classroom. And then individually, one-on-one, of course, correct behavior that's needed. We have a strong patriotic program, citizenship, and so we have a different trait we cover each quarter. And we recognize students at flag ceremony as well for displaying those traits around campus. And then just lastly, a well-rounded education. So even though we're a traditional environment that focuses on reading, writing, and math, we have a well-rounded education. We obviously have social studies, we have science, we have music, Spanish, art, PE, all of the electives, a library for our students to go to, computers for the students, technology is a big part of our traditional education now as well. So don't be tricked by the word traditional because we sure do offer all of the other options as well for our students. And then obviously I mentioned a little bit before that we have Spanish and computers as well as part of our program, but at Legacy, we also know that it comes from just more than just the classroom. And so our mission statement, as you you heard earlier talks about how supportive and involved parents and motivated students and highly effective educators. And so we feel it's really important for all three of those groups to work together to bring out the best in our students. You'll see later that we do ask our parents to volunteer. It's not a requirement, but we think it's important to have our parents on campus and involved. We have our parents come to conferences throughout the year. As well, we offer tutoring and other platforms outside of the classroom to ensure our students' success. And so next I'm going to talk about the two learning options we have at Legacy right now. The two learning options we have currently due to the pandemic are in-person learning and online learning. Next year at our schools, depending on what's kind of going on in the world, we possibly will have both of these options, but likely we'll just have in-person learning at these three new campuses. And so if we are still in this remote world, we will offer something to our students as well. If we can have school, we will have school. I think that's what Legacy is known for, that if we can keep our doors open and we can provide education with the students in our care, that's what we want to do. However, we have a very strong mitigation plan as well to keep our students safe when they're on campus, and we've seen a ton of success, which is why I think that we've been able to remain open and able to continue bringing more and more students back. Today, we have about 76% of our students in person and about 24% of our students online. So as families saw that the mitigation plan was working and that students were healthy, they continued to get more comfortable bringing their students back. And moving on, I did discuss a little bit earlier about our Back to Basics curriculum. And so as I mentioned, we have Saxon for our math program, and Saxon is a spiraled program. So students will repeat concepts throughout the year. Any given assessment isn't just on the new concept, but it's on prior concepts as well to ensure that the students are refreshing and keeping up with the skills needed throughout their math career. Spalding, on the other hand, is our phonogram program, and it encompasses all of our English language arts. So it's spelling, phonograms, dictation, and the student, it's a very unique program. Spalding's a very unique program, and so our teachers are all certified in Spalding. And we send out a lot of resources to our parents at the beginning of a new year. There's YouTube links out there about Spalding, so I encourage parents to always check those out. We do sell the the phonogram card so that parents want to practice prior to school starting, so their child, has an edge up, more than willing to do that as well. And then we offer parent universities once school starts and curriculum night, where we teach a little bit more about that Spalding. But as much as you think you need to help your children, believe it or not, they pick it up pretty quickly. And so throughout the day, they repeat daily the new phonograms and they learn them rather quickly. Like I said, we have social studies and science as well as a part of our daily core curriculum, and then all of our specials are listed there for you to see as well. I think I went a little ahead of myself there, Centria, but I spoke about the Spalding phonograms a bit before, but something particular to our younger grade classrooms is a Spalding position. So you'll walk in a lot of classrooms and you may hear the teacher say, "Let's do our Spalding chant," and the children will say, or the teacher will say feet, and the students will say flat. Hips, and the students will say back. The teacher will say hands, and the students will say are still, and so on, as you can see there. There are 70 phonograms, but don't panic. They don't have to learn all 70 right away. And it starts off obviously much slower in the kindergarten grade levels, but when we're opening a new school, they all start out at a definitely doable pace. So they'll eventually learn all 70, but it's, that's why it's important to kind of get ahead of the game if you can over the summer and start to review those. Oral phonogram review is when the teacher says the phonograms to the students, and the students repeat them back orally. And written phonograms is where the teacher writes them and then the students write them as well. And then they have a test each week for OPR and WPR. I'm ready now, sorry. Okay, and then also part of our Spalding curriculum is spelling. And so spelling lists will go home at the beginning of the week for the students. The teacher will work through the words throughout the entire week using the phonograms. And so they learn to spell by writing out the phonograms. And there's rules that go along with it. It's a very unique program, as I stated before. We have all of our students take a pre-test on Thursday, and one of the benefits is it prepares the students who aren't ready for Friday. They remember all the words they're going to be tested on. But the students who are ready, if they get 100% on Thursday, they don't have to take the test on Friday, and they can use that time to silent read, and sometimes the teachers let them work on a different activity. And spelling homework is given daily as well. And then handwriting, our students are expected to use Spalding handwriting, but they do learn this at school. So it's not something that you're expected to do at home. However, we do offer Spalding packets for students to work on in the summer. So if parents want to begin working on the correct formation of the letters throughout the summer, they can do that as well. Moving forward, a little bit more about Saxon math. And so each day they'll start with a guided class practice, which is when the teacher is reviewing the math concepts. Like I said, the teacher teaches the new concepts each day. And then the students will all work on a math facts practice individually. And then there's assessments about every 7 to 10 lessons in our Saxon program. So not every week, but about every week and a half. And then social studies and science, you can see here that we cover those as part of our core academic areas as well. And so the students will have social studies and science every day. And typically the tests, the assessments are every other week. And so if they have one in social studies one week, they'll have it in science the next week so that there's not too many assessments in one week. Again, a little bit more about our specials. So the students will go to PE and music each day. Computers, art, Spanish, and library, they'll visit once a week for 30 minutes, and they'll have a scheduled rotation. They'll go the same time every week. And the great part about Legacy is we have specials teachers that are certified in all these areas that take the class. And so our classroom teachers use that time to communicate with parents, grade papers, prepare lesson plans. And our classroom teachers feel really taken care of because they have that additional time throughout the day. And our students get the best education possible in all those specials areas as well by having those certified teachers. Our English language learners, obviously we do have an English language learner program at our schools. It does meet all the SEI standards set out by the Arizona Department of Education. So all of our teachers are SEI certified. Each daily lesson includes 4 hours of instruction, and you can see here all the following areas, but for those who called in: grammar, reading, writing, oral conversation, and vocabulary. There are situations where we try to keep the EL students in the same classroom as our English speaking students because they'll learn the language much quicker, but the teachers, if they're SEI certified, can quickly bring in these same tools throughout the day in their regular lessons in the classroom. And then moving on, our student services. So we have a gifted program at Legacy, and so our students can test into the gifted program. If they're already a gifted student or a RISE student at another school, they can bring over those results and they'll automatically be in our program at Legacy. However, if they haven't tested before, they can either test based on parent request or teacher referral. But it's always based on parent permission. So if a teacher recommends a student for the RISE program, the parent will of course receive a letter that goes home that says your child's being recommended to test for this program. And it is a pull-out program, and so the students are pulled out anywhere between 1 and 3 times a week for anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes for that program. And additionally, we obviously offer a full spectrum of exceptional student service offerings. And so if your student has an IEP, if we see any needs on our end, we automatically will accept any IEP from a prior school and immediately obviously have a meeting, determine your child's needs, and be sure starting day one they have the support they need in the Legacy school. Uniform policy. So Legacy is a uniform school. If you were not aware, you are now, so break it to your children gently. The girls and boys have a very similar uniform. So all of our students wear red, white, maroon, or navy blue polos. Girls can obviously wear skirts, skirts, capris, etc. Here's some examples and some pictures just for you to see. But this will also be in our parent handbook and is on our website as well. And the exciting thing, and if you move forward, you'll see some examples of the boys as well. Every Friday we have Spirit Day this year, and so moving forward, every Friday the students can wear Spirit Day t-shirts, and then they can wear jeans as well, which they're very excited about, and hoodies and all sorts of fun Legacy spirit wear. And we do have full service cooking kitchens at our schools. So the students can purchase lunch at the school on campus or breakfast as well. They also can bring their lunch if they would like, but we are a part of the National School Lunch Program as well. And so more information will come out about that for our families as well. And then moving on, these are our typical Legacy school hours, but as you can see, we noted that times may vary based on surrounding schools. So if we're building super close to another school and we find out that it's a conflict of traffic and everybody's trying to start school at the same time or everybody's getting out of school at the same time, we try to alleviate that and do the right thing by staggering our times to be about 15 to 30 minutes off of theirs. But typically the school day is from about 8 to 3 and our offices are open from about 7:30 to 4. But more specific for your individual campus will come out prior to the school year. And then Legacy Kids Care, so that's our before and after care program. And so we offer before school care from 6 to 7:30 a.m. and after school care from 3 to 6. It's a tuition-based program, and so any families that are interested in that, information usually comes out about a month or two prior to school. It'll include the cost of that, how to sign up, etc. And then transportation. So Legacy does not offer transportation, so we don't have a busing system. We typically go with parent drop off and pickup. Students may also walk to school or ride bikes to school, and we have bike racks for them. And students who are going to be walkers or ride bikes have to sign up at the time of enrollment, and they can change that at any time by going to the office, and they'll receive a tag on their bag. So when school ends, anybody leaving school, they have to see that tag on their bag to know that they can leave without a parent. If not, parent drop off and pickup is done through our drive-line program, and parents will drive through while the students are in their classrooms working on their homework, getting additional help from their teachers. And so while parents are waiting in a certain color, the number will come up, it'll go straight to the child's classroom and get projected up on the screen. It's a really great program. And if it's raining, if it's hot, if your child you don't want to do their homework with them, you can pick them up at the last minute and make sure that they stay there, because then they'll come out to the car and their homework will already be done. And then obviously we arrange a carpool program for our schools as well. So typically the front office will collect addresses and names of parents who are interested in a carpool program. And we will connect those parents that need that. And then local care providers. So some of our students are picked up from local daycares, etc. And then I mentioned a little bit earlier how can your child be successful in our accelerated environment when they're entering Legacy brand new. And so there are a lot of things that our teachers do outside of the classroom environment. And so some of those are free small group tutoring. So each of our teachers offer 2 tutoring sessions a week, one in math and one in ELA. We obviously also have technology intervention. So we have all this technology at our school. Let's not just use it in the classroom, let's use it for our student intervention. So the teachers are able to test the students in the classroom, see what areas they really need support with, and then assign individual assignments through the program that go straight to the student that the student can work on until they master that skill. And once they master it, they can move right on to the next one. Obviously, I mentioned earlier family involvement, and then we also have Title I services. So depending on the needs of the campus and the students, we might have a Title I pair that does kind of pull out support or just assist within that classroom there. There could be reading and math interventionists, but the full realm of Title I services are available to our Legacy students as well. Homework policy. So at Legacy, homework is assigned Monday through Thursday. There's no homework on Friday, but students are expected to complete the homework each night, and it does go into the grade book. Students are expected to also read nightly in addition to the homework. The homework starts in kindergarten about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, and then up to junior high can some nights be, an hour and a half in junior high. But our 6th grade students, I would say, which will top off at 6th grade here at these schools, K to 6. Our 6th grade students could have anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes of homework a night if they do their reading each evening as well. Parents are going to be expected to sign that homework slip for the students, and the teacher checks it off the next day. And then the students also have 2 long-term projects each quarter, actually. So each quarter, the students will do a poem, will recite a poem to their class. So they're expected to memorize that poem. They'll have the whole quarter to do it. And then the teachers will set up a schedule, and the parents can come and watch their child recite the poem. Also a book report each quarter. And so there's a different theme each quarter for the students to write a book report, and then they submit that at the end of the quarter as well. And again, you have plenty of time to get those done. They come out at the beginning of the quarter. As I mentioned earlier, volunteering is really important at Legacy. We do ask our families to volunteer 12 hours. Our teachers, obviously, as you can imagine, really appreciate it, but we just really like the environment of having our parents there at the school, around the classroom. It's just part of the Legacy family, and so that's really important to us as well. So there's plenty of opportunities right now. Obviously, due to COVID, our campuses are closed to visitors and volunteers, but our teachers have found opportunities for parents to volunteer outside of the classroom with grading, preparing for projects, getting everything ready for a teacher bulletin board, anything that can be done at home and then sent in. So our teachers are getting really creative as well. So there's still an opportunity for parents to help in that way. After school clubs and activities are going to be an option at these 3 campuses. And some of the offerings might include the school musical, which all of the schools do each year, student council, which would be open to the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students. We offer a vendor provided club, so there might be dance and sports and chess and different things like that. And then some of our teachers offer school sponsored clubs as well. So if a student has an idea for a club, they can take it to a teacher and they can say, I want to start a recycling club. And the teacher can say, great, I'll be your host. And the teacher will host that club and they'll sponsor it after school. So lots of opportunities for our students to create those clubs as well. Communication. I think that Legacy is known for communication overload, but you can't complain that you didn't know what's happening. That's my friendly reminder. So on the days you say stop emailing us, you'll be so grateful we did and didn't forget to tell you something. But we try to condense them as best as we can, but we have many different modes of communication, as you can see here. So PowerSchool is our student information system. So that's where you can check your child's grades. Emails can be sent through school-wide through that. And that's just a great tool for our parents to really know at all times if their child's turned in assignments, have they taken a test. The school calendar comes out at the beginning of the year. The quill, which comes out weekly from the schools. And so the teachers send those out now, and they include all their teacher information as well as any district and school-wide information. The school website. Schoology is our online platform, but it's also available to our in-person students. So one of the great things that I'd like to highlight about Schoology, especially for our new schools and our brand new Legacy students, is Schoology is built out to be a resource for all of our students. So if our in-person students will get a login to Schoology, which is our online platform, and our students have filmed videos, or our teachers have filmed videos for Saxon and Spalding. So we've chosen the highly effective teachers across our Legacy campuses to be filmed teaching every single one of our lessons throughout the year, and they're all posted up. So if a student misses a concept at school one day or isn't quite getting it or needs to watch it one more time, they can go home and see it from even a different teacher providing them that lesson, which is a really great tool and one that many schools do not have. As well, we have all of our phonograms lessons filmed. So parents, you no longer have to fear, but you can go home and you can just play that video and watch it with them, which is a really great tool. Also, if a student is absent, they can get all of the lessons through Schoology as well. So if you're absent, you don't have to go to the school and pick it up. You also don't have to worry that your child's going to miss so much instruction. At least for math and Spalding, they can go online and they can watch the lessons they missed from the day. So it's really great. Email, obviously our teachers are emailing constantly. Homework slips every day. So if there's a note that the teacher wants to leave you, oftentimes they'll just write it on that homework slip, and that's why it's important you sign it and send it back. If there's sometimes it's a positive note, sometimes it's, hey, they're missing this, send it in tomorrow. And then Facebook, we try to keep up to date on Facebook as well to make sure our families know the events that are happening. So Centria, I'm gonna ask you to jump in here and talk about the virtual tour, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. So this year for our new campuses, we are excited to launch a pretty cool new 3D virtual 360 tour. So here is the link for that tour. I will drop it in once we wrap up the presentation. I'll drop it in the chat so that everyone can access it if you would like, but it just gives you a quick preview of some of our main areas, our computer library room. Here you see the front office. So like I said, we will share that link with you, or you can grab it here on the screen. But it's a really cool feature, just gives you a really quick sneak peek into what our new campus will look like based off of the architectural renderings.
Thanks, Andrea. I'll just add that if any families would like to come on a tour of one of our current campuses now, you can do so. There are limited tours and limited amount of people that can come on the tour. So make sure when you go on our website, you read through all the instructions. They will take your temperature before. It's after school hours. You can bring just your school age children with you. So if you're interested, even though the campus will be a little bit different in the fact that most of our campuses now are a larger school model, it will definitely, all the classrooms will be the same. So we'll definitely give you an idea of what it would look like in a legacy school. So you're welcome to do that as well. Thank you, Centria. Okay, and then the enrollment process. So if you haven't gone to the website and put your name on the list, it's important that you do that now. Obviously, spaces are filling. So visit legacytraditional.org, and I think we'll send this out probably after, and then you click the Enroll Now link, and you'll complete all the required application steps. And so once enrollment starts, which will be soon, coming soon, in the next week or so, if you're on the list, you will get information on how to enroll. We will have a lottery at a few of our campuses, and so please just be sure to read that information very carefully when you get it and when it comes out, but you should receive something in about the next week or so. But be sure you're on the Enroll Now interest list so that we have your email and can reach out to you directly. And I think that brings us to our question and answer part of the evening. So Centria, I'll let you read those to me, and then we'll tag.
All right, so we had just a few questions come in. We had a question regarding the full day kindergarten option. So if you want to just kind of, Nicole, go over what that will look like at some of our campuses for Deer Valley versus the East Tucson and versus the new Mesa campus.
Yeah, so some of our campuses will have the full day kinder option, and some will only have half kinder. So if you go to the specific campus website, it will tell you which campus you're interested, which program they have. If it's the full day program, it is from 8 to 3, but if it's the half day program, the AM session would be from roughly 8 to 11, and the PM session would be from roughly 11:40 to 2:40. The students in the full day program extend their day to have additional specials. They have recess built in, they have lunch built in, but the students in just the half-day program still get all the core content areas. So while those students may not go to the specials, they get the core content areas of ELA, math, social studies, and science. So go to your specific campus website, Legacy Traditional, and then whichever campus it is, and it will let you know if that campus has full or half-day.
Fantastic. Another question that came in, roughly how many students will be in our classrooms, and will teachers receive an aide?
Sure. So at Legacy Schools, we don't have an aide assigned to each classroom, but we do have aides assigned to our teachers. So it's not a one-on-one aide assigned to each individual classroom, but they do rotate around a grade level. And our class size, it kind of depends, but it's roughly anywhere between 28 and 32. It's different based on a first-year school or a school that's been in session and how many students, re-enroll, but I can say that there will probably be between 30 and 32 in a classroom in a typical Legacy school.
Thank you, Nicole. So we had another parent inquiry come in. Will our 6th grade classrooms at the new campuses operate like a traditional middle school with changing classes, or will they be self-contained?
Yeah, so it's probably going to be self-contained. However, it really depends on enrollment size. So if we have one cohort of 6th grade, obviously they'll stay with one teacher. But if we have enough students in our first year, it just depends, it's enrollment based, that we have multiple cohorts, then the students can potentially at that point travel from classroom to classroom. So we do offer that at our Legacy schools just this year. Our other Legacy schools went to the more traditional middle school model where they kind of rotate between classes, a few classes a day, about 3 periods a day, and they block schedule. However, it will be dependent on enrollment. So more information will come out closer to the start of the school year for 6th grade, whether it will be self-contained or they'll travel.
Thank you. There's a question regarding the potential to extend the Deer Valley location or any of the other new campuses eventually to junior high or middle school, offering 7th and 8th grade.
So not right now. These campuses were built kind of on locked land, really. And so we have decided that these smaller school models are going to be K-6. So I just don't want to set up any false hope that we'll eventually have junior high We don't have the full-size outdoor athletic fields that a junior high might need, but we definitely are just K to 6 for now. So I would just anticipate it stays that for the future.
Got it. Thank you, Nicole. We have another parent question come in. Are they parents allowed to transfer from one legacy campus to another?
They are, yes. So if you're interested in that, you just need to reach out to your campus registrar at your current campus, and they'll help you fill out the form to make sure that you're on the list there to get transferred over. But sooner than later. And typically the schools ask you at re-enrollment time at your current campus to click if you're interested in a transfer. But if you email the registrar now, they can help you with that.
We have a question regarding potential shutdowns related to COVID. If the government or the state shuts down our schools again due to COVID, will Legacy stay open since we are a charter school?
Well, we can't. If the governor or the state shuts us down, we have to follow that mandate. I wish we could make our own decision there. However, if the county or the state recommends a school close, I think that will be taken to our school board. That's not a decision I can make on my own either. However, we'll make sure to involve all of our stakeholders. But what I can say, if it gives any sense of relief, is that Legacy has no plans to close, and we continue to stay open as long as the state allows. And we think it's important to give our parents that option. So we have a full online program option available to our parents. So if they're not comfortable coming, there is no pressure and there is no need to come. Stay home if that's what your family feels safest doing. But we also, on the other hand, want to be there for our families that do need, or their child is struggling at home and they do need their teacher there in the classroom with them. As long as we can stay open, we do plan to stay open for the long term.
Our next question comes in is regarding student capacity at the small campuses. So knowing that a typical Legacy campus is about 1,000 to 1,200 students per school, how many students will be expected for the small campuses?
Yeah, like I said earlier, between 600 and 650, I think it is the maximum number that could be at one of these new schools.
Okay, the next question is regarding National Food Lunch Program. Is that going to be offered initially at the new small campuses, or is that only for existing Legacy schools?
Yes, we will be offering it at our 3 new campuses.
And then we also have another question regarding sports programs. So since this is going to be a K through 6 campus, can you explain any potential for sports programs, and will they compete against other Legacy schools?
So this is kind of that enrollment one. Again, if we have enough 6th grade students to have an intramural team, they could potentially participate in our intramurals, which is against other Legacy schools. Definitely not competitive sports, but we will offer after school clubs that have sports offerings, because we know that's super important to our older students as well.
All right. And then we have a parent question regarding Legacy's anti-bullying policy. If you want to just kind of touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so our policy is listed in the handbook. It would be too long to go into detail here. I think that we try to do a good job educating our parents and making sure our parents understand the difference between a child being mean to another student and a child actually bullying. And so a lot of it is teaching our students and teaching our parents the difference. Now, I mean, like every school says, we have a 0 tolerance policy, but that's not to say if a child isn't kind to a student one day or does something that they're going to be kicked out of Legacy the next day. So I don't want that to be misinterpreted. We definitely want to teach our students and coach our students, and we have a social emotional learning program that we incorporated into our school starting about 1.5 years ago to really work with our students on making the best choices and being kind to one another. But of course we have issues like every other school, and we deal with those on a 1-by-1 basis, but it really is situational. And so the school definitely will work together with the parents, the teachers, the students, and everyone to ensure that everyone at a Legacy school is safe. But the policy is there in the handbook.
Perfect. And we can also include a link to that parent-student handbook in our post-presentation email to families as well. So we also have a question regarding the school lottery. So a parent just would like a little bit more clarification. What is a school lottery? And are we holding one at the new campuses because we're projecting there to be too many students wanting to attend and get accepted into our new locations?
Yeah, we are expecting enrollment to be higher and to be, for our schools to be pretty popular in these three areas. And so a lottery, again, like I said earlier, we'll email out the specifics based on each campus. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. That's what happens when you do these in the evening, everyone. But we will send the specifics of the lottery or just the enrollment out based on each campus. And I don't want to misquote. And since we don't have our compliance director on here tonight, I'm not going to get too specific, but we are expecting our enrollment to be, our enrollment interest to be much higher at those schools. And so we will be doing a lottery, I believe, at 2 of the 3 new schools. And so it won't be first come, first serve. So traditionally with Legacy, you would know that first come, first serve. If you're on the wait list first, you get in. However, what I do know is that once the lottery is held first, then each week they hold a new lottery with the new students that come in. And so a lottery is held kind of over and over and over again. But the specifics will come out in the email.
Okay, and you already addressed this, Nicole, but there was a question regarding if Legacy offers a special education program, which we do. So I'll just let you kind of mention that again.
Sure. Yep. We do offer a special education program. All of our schools have special education teachers, school psychologists, speech linguists, SLPs. So we have the full range of services for all of our students. And like I said, if a parent needs more information on that, they can just submit their IEP in advance. We actually ask for that upon enrollment so that we can be prepared with the right staffing by the first day of school and be sure that the first day they're there, we're meeting their needs right away.
One final question as we get ready to wrap. And what we will also do, we see that there are several other questions that have come in. We will answer them and then we will put them into a document for you guys, which will also be included in that email so you can get a quick glance and see the responses. So one of the other questions that have come in is regarding the small campus again. Will there be multiple classrooms for each grade like we have at our current 1,000, 1,200 campus schools?
Yeah, we plan to have 2 or 3 classrooms of each grade level.
And then one final question. In addition to the accelerated curriculum, how does Legacy approach the whole child well-rounded approach? What is our approach?
Sure. So like I mentioned earlier, we have all of the specials classes. So it's not just the core content area, but we have all the specials classes as well. Additionally, the after school programs, and then most importantly, the patriotism, citizenship, and social emotional learning program. So the social emotional learning, especially within the last year, has been really important to our teachers, our students, and our parents. And we provide kind of some family collaboration in that program as well. So those are all the ways in which we meet the needs of the whole child.
Perfect. I know I said one more question, Nicole, but we do have one I think is pretty crucial.
Okay.
It's regarding just our mitigation plan in COVID. So currently, are students wearing masks at their desk?
They are, yes. So our Legacy students have to wear masks indoors because again, it's a county mandate. And so the 3 counties in which our Legacy schools reside have all made that a mandate. And so we don't have an option not to follow that. But we've also found that the students wearing the mask following the mitigation plan has really minimized the amount of COVID cases we've had at our schools. The students are allowed, per the governor's order, to take a break. So if the student needs to take it off, take a deep breath, take a drink of water, have a quick moment, and then put it right back on, they can do so sitting at their desk, but that's very limited. But of course, we would never tell a student that they couldn't do that. Additionally, the students can take them off when they're outdoors. So when they're outside having lunch recess, when they're outside having snack recess, when they're outside for PE, those are the times they can have it off. If they're indoors for PE, they still would have to have it on, and indoors for any of their specials classes. So pretty much anytime inside, they need to have it on unless they're taking that quick water break or just a quick breather because they need to because they're not used to it.
All right, and then one final also on the topic of COVID. What is the legacy protocol mitigation plan should anyone test positive at a legacy campus currently?
Well, that's tough because it's 47 pages, so I won't get into all the the details. But obviously, we follow more than just the county guidelines, but we immediately start contact tracing. So upon the information that a student or a staff member has COVID, we immediately begin contact tracing, and all of our teachers are required to submit seating charts for all of their classes, so we know exactly which students would be sitting within 6 feet of any student or staff member that does get COVID. Additionally, we know seating charts for all the special area classes as well. And we follow the CDC guidelines, which is coming in within 6 feet of contact in accumulation of over 15 minutes in a 24-hour period. So it's not easy. It takes quite about 4 hours to process each case that we encounter at a school, because we just go really in depth. We also notify any close contacts immediately, and those close contacts are quarantined for 10 days from the day that they were last exposed. And then additionally, we do send an email to the whole class that says, there was a case of COVID in your class, and while your child was not a close contact, we just want to let you know, continue to watch for symptoms, but your child's not quarantined and continue to come to school. That's kind of the really short version about what happens, but it is 47 pages. So we do have a copy of it on our website.
All right. Well, thank you, Nicole, for answering those questions. And again, if you did not hear your question answered or you missed a portion during the presentation, you can email us at events@legacytraditional.org, and we would be more than happy to provide a response to your question. Nicole, anything else that you would like to address or discuss before we close for the night?
I don't think so. Like I said, please feel free to come on a tour of one of our current legacy campuses. I think that nothing tells the story better than seeing it in action. And I know that you would love meeting our principals at our current campuses or meeting any member of the administrative team. And they can also answer any of your specific questions. And then any specific questions, as soon as Centria mentioned she would send out an email, as soon as you get that, if you send her your specific question back, between her and I, we can answer those for you. One off, and we're here for you, and we can't wait to meet your children. And please let us know if you need anything else, and just don't quote me on everything I said about the lottery, because I was doing my best to wing it. So when you get the details, read the details, but don't quote me on that one. But have a great night, everyone. Thanks for entertaining our presentation, and thanks for moderating, Centria.
You're very welcome. And then one final thing, I did see a few questions just pop in regarding where teachers interested in employment opportunities. You can visit legacytraditional.org/careers. There you'll be able to find all of our open positions as they become available at our new campuses. And again, I will put that into the email that you guys will receive after the event sometime tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Centria.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.